and so when they have problems they fight. I really don't get it. But this is what happened yesterday, because the NPP minority decided that they weren't going to continue with the vetting because they were tired. And the NDC majority said that they were going to continue with the vetting because Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who is Minister Designate for Foreign Affairs, and Menta Kando, who is Minister Designate for Health, were there and scheduled to be vetted. And so they were going to vet them at all cost. And these men and women couldn't come to an agreement, but instead they decided to destroy public property. They decided to embarrass themselves. They decided to yesterday. And I was hoping that after what happened at the commencement of the 8th Parliament and the condemnation that it faced, we would that. Unfortunately, we saw it. Unfortunately, we saw it in Promax. And tables, they'll call policemen and their assistants to carry it. Yesterday, you saw them carrying chairs and putting it on a table and destroying chairs. Shamelessly and embarrassingly. My goodness. But anyway, we're here to talk about all of that. Unfortunately for us, there's a man here who stayed through it all. He witnessed everything live and colored. And so maybe what I'm saying is from what I saw on TV, but he was in there and he saw everything. Maybe there's justification for what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I watched it. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is a parliamentary correspondent and he's also the organizing secretary for the Parliamentary Press Corps and the producer of GH Today. Ibrahim, good morning.
Good morning.
Audu Mahama is the managing editor for the Custodian newspaper. Audu, good morning. And he has been reporting in Parliament for years, since 1992.
Who?
Please, 1992, I wasn't a journalist.
Oh, okay. When was it?
1992, I was in.
So when did you start reporting? When did you start reporting from Parliament? Which year? 2000. You will say when I said 92.
I can't easily recollect, but I started many years ago.
Many years
but
ago.
But not 92. 92, I was not even a journalist.
Okay. So. All right. And Eric Owususai Esquire is a private legal practitioner. Wilberforce Osari is the political editor for Asase Radio. You're all welcome, gentlemen. I do not like the fact that there's no female representation on the show, but I guess that I will see myself as the, female rep.
You see, Serwaa.
I have not called you.
I think it's good you talked about female rep. I think this your show. I think we should be bringing more females. Bringing them once a while. You know, Nana. I had this thing with Nana Ama Pratt.
Yes.
On this show.
Yes.
Very brilliant lady. Yeah. You know, she's now the press secretary to
the vice president.
Yeah. So you have produced one person, one appointee. So maybe the lady should look at GHOne. And even if you are not called, just call the producer, IB, and occupy yourself here and say that I want to be part of the show. One day, I may also become.
Maybe we should have called Felicity Nelson because she was there yesterday with you.
Yeah, she could not show up because she lives.
Even before we get to the work of the Appointments Committee, today we're focusing on Parliament. Yeah. If there's time, we may talk about the Attorney General and the swearing in of the Constitutional Review Committee and the withdrawal and acquittal spree by the Attorney General. But for today, the main focus is Parliament, the Appointments Committee specifically, and what has happened from the MFA Hardcastle episode to Oliver Baka-Vorma War to the Linda Oklu, whose vetting was the shortest to us, and condemnations, on every side. So, gentlemen, you're welcome once again. I want us to start with the scuffle that we saw in Parliament. Ibrahim, you were there.
Yes, I was.
What happened?
Well, Serwaa, the way you captured what happened yesterday in the intro was perfect. It's as if you were there, because that was exactly what happened. So, the day before yesterday, we got communication from the Appointments Committee relative to the number of nominees to be vetted yesterday. There were 8 of them. 8 of them, and I'm talking about a release that came from the committee. Now, per the release, each of the nominees had been allotted 1 hour So vetting was supposed to start at 8 a.m. By 9 a.m., another nominee was supposed to take his turn. By 10 a.m., another, and then after a while, there's a lunch break, they return and they vet everybody. From Sam George to Samuel Okudje to Ablakwa. Now, then yesterday, I showed up in Parliament. It was past 9 a.m. There was no activity. In fact, Wesley Popo, who had been scheduled to be vetted first, had been there, and there was no action. In my engagement with the members of the minority of the Appointments Committee, they expressed shock that they were expected to vet 8 nominees. I spoke to Patrick Yabuama, I spoke to Jerry Ahmed, and this was live on TV, who said they were willing to vet 3, maximum 4. So then I realized that we were bound to have a problem because there was a misunderstanding. Of course, they retrieved into a conclave, they had engagement, and then the number was whittled down to 7. So we were expecting the 7 to be vetted. It got to the turn of Sam George, and in fact, even when Sam George was to take his seat, there were suggestions that it should rather be Kwabena Mintakando or another nominee, because I'm sure that the committee realized that Sam George's vetting was not going to be an ordinary vetting. But nonetheless, Sam George took his seat, and then the process started. For almost 6 hours, as everybody witnessed. I'm sure we'll return and talk about that particular episode. But what happened was that after Sam George, Kofi Adams took his. In fact, Sam George's vetting had to be truncated by the intervention of the chairman of the committee, because Alexander Kwame Afenimake still had more questions for the nominee. But then the chairman stepped in protest. Afenimake then said he was not going to ask any further question, and then it was truncated. Kofi Adams took his seat. There were murmurings that Kofi Adams was going to be the last one, especially from the minority side.
Making 5.
Making 5.
Okay.
And then Joseph Bukari Nipe, who is related to Dominic Nitiu, and of course that played out during the vetting as well. The committee then agreed that they would take the transport minister nominee. It was after that, in fact, before the transport minister nominee took his seat, Kwabena Mintakando had walked in, and then they were actually signaling him to take the seat. But of course, Joseph Bukari took the seat. Akando then sat just by him, and then in the middle of the engagement, Samuel Okudje Ablakwa walked in, and then also took a seat just beside Kwabena Mintakando. I asked Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, who is the majority chief whip, as to when the exercise was going to end, and he said, and I'm quoting him, "We are vetting everybody," meaning the 7 names advertised.
8 or 7?
7. Okay. Initially 8, and then 1 was taken out, and then 7 was left. So they were going to vet everybody.
Who was taken out?
Gardner,
okay.
One regional minister,
okay.
Yes, was taken out. And so 7 of them were going to be vetted. Here's the thing, Serwaa. The strategy of the 2 parties, and yesterday it was very clear. The majority had said that the minority, through its leader, was wasting time, and that Afeni ought not to have spent 3 hours questioning Sam George. And so if you've wasted that time, we are going to ensure that the work that we have scheduled is not altered in any way. The worst you can do is to boycott or walk out. That was it. Now guess what, Serwaa? The minority from the word go had indicated that they are not walking out, they are not boycotting, because as a political strategic tool, it will not inure to the benefit of the minority.
Right.
The number is insignificant. The committee, regardless of whichever committee, will constitute a quorum with or without the minority members. If you are not at the party, you are not allowed to make input. So the report that will emanate from the committee will not have the input of the minority if it boycotts or it walks out. Now, without the input of the minority, it will mean that the appointees or nominees will be approved by consensus. Now, then the next strategy of the minority is to disrupt the process. And that's what we saw play out publicly. First, they had put on the microphones, and the microphones or the public address system in Parliament is fashioned in a way that once you put on one, that becomes the master microphone. It disables all the others. So usually the MPs deploy this tactic by just putting on the microphone and leaving it on. The chairman will not be able to issue out any orders, and that was what happened. So initially that was it, and then this degenerated into bangings on the table, and then singing, and then shouting. Then it became apparent that the majority was still insisting that the process must continue. Then there was a directive, a command that let's dislodge the setup, let's move the tables apart. And of course this came from Frank Anodompre, the minority chief whip. And so they started tearing the tables apart. Because the microphones were placed on the table, the microphones started falling off, and then they were destroyed in the process, which then made it practically impossible for the process to continue. Not just that, chairs were lifted and placed on the table. MPs lifted each other up. Yes, and in fact, just what didn't happen yesterday was probably a blow hitting somebody's jaw or landing on somebody's face. But everything at all that happened on January 6 to January 7, 2020 played out, as you mentioned, in a pro-max format. In fact, the level of distraction we witnessed yesterday was worse than what happened in the chamber. In the chamber, in fact, chairs were lifted, but no chair was broken. Right? Ballot papers were chewed, but those were ballot papers. Right? There was a slap on the back of Carlos Ahimkra by the now Interior Minister, but that was it. Yesterday, it was a sight to say that this should never happen again. Fortunately for all of us, it was playing out on live TV. It was on GHOne TV and on other networks. So they say there's a saying in Akan that in Samboni there were others who were firmly rooted on their seats. I saw you were free, he never moved. I saw Akando, he had a fan in his hand because the place was very hot. Very calm. I saw Samuel Okweta Blakwa, yes, making gestures here and there, but still firmly rooted on his seat. But there were others like Michael Ochirbefi, like Frank Anodompre, like Jerry Ahmed, like at the point Governor Boja who came in, Roxy Nelson Dafiamapo who came in, and then Hassan Tampuli and Gakpe, and that's the Keta MP, and many others. And like I said, see, we don't even have to mention them. Their faces are there for everybody to see.
And it's Sedu's son.
I said Getier's son, yes. The doctor, no, he's not a doctor. Honorable Esidu was equally involved as well. So at the end of the day, the minority succeeded in disrupting everything that was taking place because strategically, they were too tired to vet Samuel Okweta Blakwa. You need fresh breath, not just that. You need rest. You need to prepare to face Samuel Okweta Blakwa. In fact, Alexander Kwame Afenemakin had mentioned that there are two outstanding nominees that they don't intend giving their blessing by way of approval. He had engaged one of them. He might have agreed. Usually, this is what happens. And so we've all followed vetings. As a politician, you are either a hardliner or a soft liner. And in politics, from both sides, we have the Sam Georges, we have the Blackwest, and then you have from the other side you have the Ayuwe Frees, you have the Samir Wukus, you have the John Buedus, and then you have the former Education Minister Dr. Yawo Edichum. They all have their demeanor and how they do their politics. If you are a Sam George and you appear before the appointment committee, two things will happen. You stand by everything you have said and then suffer the penalty for it. What's the penalty? You have to be voted upon in the plenary. Or you behave like Emmanuel Armah-Kofi Buah, who the MPP took offense with his comments on the back of President Akufo Addo's final sooner. And he was asked to apologize. And he wrote a profuse apology. He wrote a letter apologizing profusely. That's been captured in the Hansard. So the opposition that emanated from the appointments committee on the side of the minority was withdrawn. Some judge took a decision that I will stand by everything I have said. I'll be voted upon in the plenary, and I'm ready to be voted upon. If I make it, so be it. If I don't make it, so be it. Today, we'll hear from Samuel Okudzi-Dablakwa, we'll hear from Parliamentary Akando. If they will go the Armah-Buah way, which is eat back your words, pacify the minority. It's happened in the past. Pacify the minority and you get a smooth sail, or stand by things that you believe that you want to stand by and suffer the penalty for it. Kojo Oponkroma was voted upon. How Kumsin was voted upon. And Usu Afriyakutu was voted upon. It is a decision, but usually it's not a palatable decision for the politician, for the appointees. So they will have wished, they will have wished that they get a smooth sailing. Because sometimes, especially when the numbers were very close in the 8th Parliament, you cannot guarantee that your own people were going to even vote for you. And it's voting by secret ballot. And so, therefore, you will have wished that this cap passes you. But you are a politician, you know what you have said. You know the toes you have stepped on. So, be prepared and suffer the consequences for it. We just hope. I spoke to Nitu yesterday, and I said that this might be what characterizes this 9th Parliament again. Because, see, the minority always has nothing to lose. The NDC in the past had nothing to lose. So they did what they did the way they felt was good. The NPP equally has nothing to lose in Parliament. So it's doing what it's doing, thinking that is the right thing to do politically. But the jury is out there. And like I said, it's good that everything that we are talking about played out before the eyes of the public.
Audu.
So, thank you very much. You want me to talk about what happened also, the whole vetting process about Sam George?
You can add that. Okay.
Because I'm asking because of time. Because I need a lot of time.
Like 4 hours.
Yes.
Like Sam George. to disclose 700 corruption cases. Okay. But if you can, stay on this so that when we start talking about Sam George, because that will be right after this.
Okay, that's fine. You see, in parliamentary democracy, you may have the numbers, but there are rules and procedures governing everything in parliamentary practice. And therefore, when you think that you have the numbers, you can get your way no matter what, you may have challenges, especially when the people who are described as insignificant or micro-minority have a point to prove. So if you're in government and you have absolute majority and you want your business to go ahead, do not think that because you have absolute majority, you sidestep procedures and rules governing the house. You may have challenges. Why do I say so? IB has been reporting in Parliament for some time now, for years now. He's covered vetting processes in Parliament. And normally my understanding is that when at any point in time the number of people to be vetted are considered and approved by both sides at any point in time. And therefore when you go, both sides are aware of the number of people they are going to vet. In this particular instance, the majority apparently prepared that 8 people, nominees, were going to be vetted. The minority side had said that they were prepared to vet 3. And then the team moved to 4 and then to 5. And the 5th person closed after 10 p.m. in the night. I was watching. If I was working, I waited to do that last story. So I left office very late. Once I was moving home, then I heard the noise. I didn't actually see until I got home and I saw the videos. When I got home, the whole process was still going on. And then it came to the last person, who was a minister for transport, ended after 10 p.m. Am I right? Yeah. Then minority they said that, look, we have at least compromised. We said 3, we moved from 3 to 4, we moved from 4 to 5. And at 10 p.m., they thought that the vetting should end so that the following day, the rest will continue. And when you listen to the minority leader and ranking member of the committee, appointments committee, he said that they never agreed on the number of this thing to be vetted. Even when he was with the chairman of the committee, Mr. Amihere. The number was not disclosed, and that it was the clerk to the committee who he described as highly partisan and NDC affiliated, who will always put out the list for the number of people to be vetted. And that thing will have to be looked at. In vetting processes, normally the two sides will have to agree from beginning the number of people, nominees they want to vet. This was not agreed upon. I do not, as a person, do not see why 8 people should be vetted on one day, on a day. 8 nominees. Why? And the thing that you allocate 1 hour for every nominee, I have never seen this before. This on paper that every nominee should have 1 hour. Why? When you know from practice, from previous vettings, that one person will always take sometimes 3 hours. Why will you put that time and insist that because it is 1 hour, you will be able to vet 8 people one day? Look, I don't know when this parliament, or not this parliament, this under the Fourth Republic, whether 8 nominees have been vetted before. I don't know. I have never seen it. At least I've covered Parliament for some time now. I don't know that a day 8 people have been vetted. I don't know of 1993 Parliament because that one was virtually one-sided. So that one, and I wasn't even a journalist, Serwaa, so I didn't know what happened. But since I started following Parliamentary, I do not know a particular year Parliament that 8 people were voted on a day. So to think that you finish the last person and you have the majority still insisted that 2 important portfolios, people representing 2 important portfolios, Foreign Affairs Ministry, which I think that it has a lot of questions to answer, even more than Sam George. Sam George has taken how many hours? And you think that with that time, he and Akando, who is also, I expect some few issues to pop up. For those 2 critical health and foreign affairs to be vetted after 10 p.m., I didn't see any reason to that, or any reason for that. Having said that, I think that if both sides had agreed that, look, we have gone so far and the compromises were made that let's allow these people to be vetted the following this today, this would not have happened. And you see, people I know, you have to condemn minority for the distractions and all that, because whether you like it or not, the distractions were not made by the majority side, because they were happily seated. They wanted the vetting to go on. The minority side actually started that the thing will not happen. They also insisted that it will not happen because the majority side insisted that the 2 nominees will be vetted. And when you have these entrenched positions, no side was ready to budge. This thing is going to budge. Look, minority, as Ivy said, they have nothing to lose. You have government, majority side have government business to conduct. And therefore, it behoves the majority to rather bring the minority in line. If you think that you have the majority and therefore what you did, the only option left for the minority was what they had yesterday. People will blame them for all of it, but they have ended up, you may describe them as shameless, you may describe them as anything, despicable and all that, their actions, but they have achieved what they wanted to achieve. If you had suspended the process and said that, okay, let's hold on with the 2 and then continue the following day, it was today. This vetting, all this would not have happened. This vetting would have taken place today, and smoothly it would have gone on. But when you say that, oh, we would not, no matter what, it will be done. You see, I've said that when you are somebody who is already down, fears no follow. Who is already down, fears no fall. And therefore, if he's even in the mud, you have to avoid the mud. Because if you join him, you swell your clothes. I think that was what majority did yesterday. A minority, as for them, they've achieved what they insisted that the two will not be vetted, and they have achieved it, no matter how. Machiavelli, those of you who have read Machiavelli and even the Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto, you see some of these tactics in it. And in politics, it is not how you achieve it. The end result is what is important. And I will only caution that do not underrate the so-called micro minority, because you have not even seen it, the tactics and the strategies you adopt. If you think that you have absolute majority and you think you have what, the way forward is for both sides to always agree on the number of people to be vetted. And this thing about allotting 1 hour for each nominee doesn't make sense to me. Look, there are some nominees who will appear, they will not take 30 minutes. You were mentioning the regional minister, Greater Accra regional minister. I'm not sure she even did 20 minutes.
No, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Why? Because nobody was interested in asking her questions. Nobody was interested.
Yeah.
Yes, as unfortunate as it was, they probably did that because they wanted time to vet other people. So I have never, if anybody has this kind of thing, allotting 1 hour for this, I have not seen it before. If anybody has seen it and it's done before, let me know. Look, when Ken Oforiatta appeared in 2021 for vetting, you know, his vetting was postponed because of health reasons. He was outside the country. He appeared, and his first day he took about 6 hours, and the vetting was adjourned till the following day. And that time leadership handled him the following day, and that was where you got Haruna Idrisu, Muntaka, and the rest. And everybody knows what my brother Muntaka did to the nominees, the questions he asked nominees at that time. So eventually, if you added the 6 hours Ken Oforiatta did the first day and the more than 3 hours he did the other day, he alone got more than 9 hours. I was just looking at Dami's time. Kofi Dami did more than 6 hours vetting. And even that, he was asked to produce documents. For him to be, even that, all the approval was not by consensus, but was not by in Parliament. Let's explain this. When you say consensus, it means that both sides agree. But when it is majority decision, it is one-sided. It is voted on. So even at the committee level, all the people IB had mentioned were all recommended by majority decision. That was why they were voted on. Even after doing almost 9 hours, then finance minister designate was voted on in the plenary, on the floor of Parliament. What's the name? The Attorney General then, Kofi Addo, did more than 6 hours, and yet his was taken by majority decision. It was voted in the plenary, and many them, Afriye, Akutu, and the rest, and we all saw it. So in parliamentary practice, look, at least this cliche has always been there, always allow the minority to have his say, because they are not going to have their way. let them at least have their say, and the majority will have its way. That's how parliamentary democracy is practiced. If you say that minority should not have its say, and you will not, because they will not have their way. If you say they will not have this little thing that they will say to at least also register their point, you say they should not have that one too, you are not going to have a peaceful democracy or practice. You are going to have anarchy and lawlessness like we saw yesterday. When we come to, yes, I'm concluding, when we come to the main issues, why I've heard people, why they think delayed, the issues that cropped up during the vetting. I've heard people that because he was critical of government, there's difference between somebody being critical of government and making allegations that you have been asked to prove. So when we come, I think we'll go into those issues, and there I have a lot to say.
All right, Eric.
Well, Serwaa, words fail me. That's all I can say. Words fail me. I do not know where the public interest is in the equation, because if nominees show up, what do you expect persons questioning them to do is that they would ask questions that are relevant. What are relevant questions? Questions pertaining to the sector, ministries those persons are to be made heads of. What we see rather is sometimes an attempt by either the minority or majority trying to do a lot of showboating. People want to just show that they are competent lawyers, or that's not the place for cross-examination, where we say that cross-examination is at large. You would want to ask questions that speak to the national situation, but that's not what we are having. It appears to be the case that this is just a fanfare for some people. You have to go and, as it were, punch people and make them feel it, and that's what we are seeing. It's unfortunate because we are in a very serious situation as a nation. Most of our labor, most of the young people we have in this country are fleeing the country because we have made the country uninhabitable. If you want to make it in Ghana today, you have to join a political party or you take up ministry. And we are not gospel ministry, you mean? Yes. Yes. There are more churches. There are more churches in this country than there are factories. So if you have an opportunity to ask a nominee questions, I am not interested in whether the person is going to have an hour or 2 hours. But the moment you start asking irrelevant questions, you foul the atmosphere. And that is what we are seeing. If some of our forebears were to show up to witness what we are doing now as a country, they would faint and die. Because they did not expect us to be where we are as a country. Look at what we are doing. We are struggling. We are unable to open up the regions and allow people to flourish in those regions. So we are developing Ghana based on an agenda to develop Accra. Go to the other regions and see. I came from Sunyani yesterday. You get to Sunyani, it's as if you've reached a war zone. Roads have not been tarred. There are universities springing up, changing the economy of Sunyani. But you go to Sunyani, most of the roads are untarred. Some have have been earmarked to be tarred for the last 10 years, and we haven't seen much. So where are the dividends of this democratic experiment? That is what Ghanaians are beginning to ask. And if members of parliament are to go out and feel the pulse of the ordinary Ghanaian, they would appreciate the challenges the ordinary Ghanaian is facing. At this juncture, we have become a mockery. We have become a mockery as a country. We are just making fun of each other. And some of these members of parliament should perhaps take up kickboxing instead of purporting to represent their constituents. Because where is the national interest in the conversation? Where is it? If somebody is going to head a ministry, you would expect the person to be quizzed about how the person intends to run the ministry with the aid of civil service questions you would expect nominees to face. But we are, and so listen, I always tell people this, that there is a difference between what the national interest is and what is in the interest of the nation. Some people may be interested in where Serwaa Amihere slept last night, but is it in the interest of the nation? So while it may be in the interest of the nation to know where she slept, it may not be in the national interest. And these are the balancing acts members of parliament ought to bear in mind when people show up to be questioned of questioning these nominees. Somebody shows up to be vetted as a minister, and the first lines you hear are, "We congratulate you on your," they don't even say nomination, appointment. That person is a nominee. He has appeared before you to be vetted and appointed, and you are congratulating the person on his appointment before he is even vetted. What is this? There are
some members on the committee who don't ask a question at all.
Yeah.
Theirs is just to praise and talk about how they know them and give history about, and I find it very strange.
Waste of
time. And I'm like, but what kind of, forgive my French, ass-kissing is this? Because someone comes to sit there and I know you will succeed.
Yes.
It means that's why I don't fault people when they say that this vetting process has become a mere formality, because from the get-go we all know that they will pass this person. Because how are you telling someone you are about to vet to determine later whether they are qualified or not, whether they should be approved?
Yes.
That I know you will succeed.
Yes, prejudicial comments.
And you are a good man, you gave me a lot of advice, and you know, like we saw in the Linda Okru situation, no single question.
Yes, because
meanwhile the Greater Accra has a lot of problems.
Yesterday, Serwaa, we plied the Kolebu Road, and the roads encircling the hospital, Kolebu itself, if there is an emergency and you have to be conveyed to Kolebu, you will probably die before you get to the hospital because the roads are more trouble. So if a sector minister, a nominee shows up to be quizzed, and he is the health minister, and you reside in Accra, or at least you applied that road, you know that these are the issues. Why are you going to make these comments about how active the person is in bed, or whether he taught you some mathematics while you were in school? What do these things have to do? And Afenyo Markin showed promised when Nana Atudazi showed up with Oliver Vomao, when he misconducted himself. The man was going on a certain tangent about the number of years he had done at the bar, and he told him, but Nana, what do these remarks have to do with the issues before us? Is he going to render an unqualified apology? And that is what you expect them to do. He, as a lawyer, knows what the relevant questions are. And I will expect him, he is the poster boy of the MPP. And he is a very competent man, no doubt about that. He's a very competent man. But I think that he gets carried away sometimes. You see, there is a lot you can do to expose people if you want to even expose them. If that is your big idea, there is a lot you can do. But if people show up and it appears that you have an issue, you have scores to settle with those people, and you go on a certain tangent, you don't help your case at all, because there are germane issues you should deal with, and you should not miss the opportunity, because people are watching us. As for the brawl, Serwaa, I am not taken aback at all. If we are not careful, one fine day, somebody is going to fire a gun there. We will get there, because this is a dress rehearsal. You saw what happened before Speaker Bagman was elected. You saw what happened. People were fighting. They were on live television. And you ask these people, do they have elders? Do these people have elders? Were they brought up properly? Are they exhibiting the so-called Ghanaian, the rich Ghanaian culture we have been touting over the years? Are they alive to their responsibilities? Do they know what time it is? People are looking for opportunities to live as decent human beings in this country. And the political class, members of the political class, have hijacked the democratic process. And that is what is playing out in the public domain. So I am not surprised if we do not. What it means is that this is what they do when it is time to discuss national issues. They fight. This is just symptomatic of their attitude in chambers. We are seeing that live, and we need to move from this point, because we are in a dire situation as a country. Most of the young people who are growing up in this country have no hope at all, and you have this rare opportunity of examining the skills of people who are going to be appointed to head sector ministries, and you are missing this golden opportunity. I honestly don't get it. The next minute you see them having coffee. Yes, because it's they are just showing off that this is what I can do to you, and as soon as they are done, they make a U-turn. We should not treat serious national issues in this manner. I think that they should be told to be up and doing, because this is not what we are expecting members of the committee to do.
All right. Wilberforce.
Well, state of affairs.
It's a show on this.
Yes, a show.
Yeah. State of affairs, and I get the impression that these are the representatives of the people, and so their actions represent what the people want, right, and what the people will do.
And just by way of information, yes, we are told that the committee room has been restored to its original state now. The microphones have been fixed, the tables have been repaired, and it has been confirmed that the vetting will take place there. You know, last night the majority leader had said that it will be transferred to the speaker's conference room, which was smaller than what they had, and so now they are going back to where they originally hold it, so the people can come with all their chiefs and their. I have never even understood that concept of bringing everybody and then
try to understand.
Okay, right, and then the chairman of the committee will give shout outs to everybody present, including the friends of the nominee.
So what is why we are saying that a lot of time is wasted on trivialities. Oh, a big shout out to the queen mother of the nominee who came with her grandchildren.
This man is not a politician.
Oh, come on.
So he will describe it as trivialities.
But it's important.
It's time wasting.
For a politician, it's important.
You are the one complaining.
Okay, what about you finish your point.
There are a lot of issues to talk about.
So, the reason why I say it's a state of affairs is because it appears to me that there's too much anger in Ghana. And from where I sit and from the little that I know, it actually scares me that someone disagrees with an appointment made by the President of the Republic, and the person thinks that he should take sticks, stones, cutlasses, and go to the institution where the person has been appointed and stop the person from entering that institution. That is a wild demonstration of unnecessary anger. We have members of parliament who are representatives of the people going through a constitutional process, and because there is disagreement, we are angry, we take up chairs, throw chairs at each other, the microphones. I think that those people who are in that committee, they should be made to pay for the microphones and the speakers and the tables and the chairs. It shouldn't be cost associated with the state or with parliament. They should pay for it out of pocket. If they won't pay for it, it should be taken from their salaries. Because this anger is unnecessary. It doesn't build the country. The anger that we are demonstrating, it has never been. If anything, it leaves things destroyed. All the anger that we demonstrated after the election, what happened? We left electoral commission offices bent. We left police stations destroyed. We left people's legs broken. We left people's arms twisted. So all the anger that we exhibit, it only ends up showing bad things. It never solves any problem. So this parliament problem we are talking about today, did they solve it by the anger? The anger just left things destroyed. Now we are having announcements. Oh, the tables and chairs have been repaired. The microphones have been restored. The room is as if it just happened. It's cost. It came with cost. At least even if we didn't pay any money, we engaged somebody's manpower. So I am worried about the anger. And I think that those in authority should take some steps to deal with this anger. It is beginning to scare me. I don't want our children learning that in this country we solve problems with anger. Be angry, shout, scream, destroy. That's the only way we can solve problems in our beloved Ghana. It scares me. Serwaa, I don't think I want to say anything more.
Okay. I just told you that the room has been restored. The speakers, the microphones have also been restored. We have a video of that so that you see it for yourselves. The room where the appointment committee sits, you'd never imagine that there's a lot of distraction that happened yesterday here.
That was an amphitheater.
Right.
It had been turned into an amphitheater.
Today, well, it's been restored. They have microphones, new microphones, functioning microphones, and there's a new table that has been put there, and so
we bought it.
I'm sure it was probably taken from a different.
Parliament has works department. They have carpenters, right?
So you think that the carpenters fix that table was spoiled beyond repair?
No. They have a works department. They have technical department.
Yes.
They have work department.
We see the microphones you see.
We know that, but I'm saying it came with cost.
Yeah,
it's not free. It doesn't happen.
No.
But these parliamentarians appear to have a lot of money. So you know what? I mean, I don't have any pity for any MP again who says they don't have money, because they have money. They have money to do many things.
Yes.
And they have other
Many
sources of
like,
income.
Many things,
you know.
like what?
So that's the table.
That's the table.
That's the table without 2 legs. So the table lost 2 legs.
The table lost 2 legs.
What is this?
Anyway, let's move on. Wilberforce, since I ended with you, I want you to take the conversation from there. Let's talk about yesterday's vetting. Quite a number of people were vetted yesterday. About 5 people, right? About 5 people. The most interested one, or public interest one, is Sam George's own. It's received a lot of mixed reaction. I have seen, but majority of the reaction is hailing Sam George as coming prepared for the committee. Many say that his posture and attitude was as a result of an interview that the minority leader, who is ranking member on the committee, had said earlier on another station that he and Okudzeto Ablakwa were going to face some difficulty because they had made certain pronouncements against the NPP, and so he probably came with that posture ready to defend himself. Some have also said that he exhibited sheer arrogance, and some of the questions were unnecessary, some of the questions were important. I don't know, from where you sit and what you observed, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so you know, Sam George, just like Okudzeto Ablakwa, have been two outspoken politicians.
Right.
And because of the way they have been outspoken, what it means is that they may have said things that would have angered the opposite side. So the constitutional duty of receiving prior approval of Parliament before you can become a minister becomes the avenue where the opposite side will use to settle the scores and to get clarification. You remember when Kofi Buah went for vetting? He had said some very, very harsh words towards the former president when he delivered his last State of the Nation address. And it became the talk of the town because of the nature of the words that were spoken. This was a man who was ending an 8-year-old presidency. And whilst he was exiting, the acting minority leader then didn't have any nice words to say, bye-bye, thank you for your service to Ghana. Even if you didn't like the way the service went. At that point where it's like, we are at the end, it's just to say thank you, and it doesn't take anything away. When Mr. Buah came, he decided that he will apologize. Do you understand? Because the other side wanted to use it to settle scores. So it was the same for Sam George. And what the minority side was seeking for was to see whether some of the things that he has said, he would make a U-turn from it.
Right.
But he also decided not to make a U-turn from anything that he has said. The high point for me was the issue about when Sam George is purported to have said that former President Akufo Addo stole the public purse.
It was said on this show.
Yes, like he took it, he stole it.
Yes.
That is a very, very, very serious statement to make. If I sit here today and I say that former President Mahama, when he was President Mahama now, but when he served as president and left off, if I sit on this TV station and say that President Mahama stole the public purse, I don't know how many people in the NDC would just accept that statement from me. I don't know. So that was a very serious statement to make about a then sitting president. Now the person is even no longer president. So it was an opportunity. Let's say that it was for politics. You had an opportunity to say, oh, Mekasa wa, but the man still insists that he has 700 points to demonstrate that indeed former President Akufo Addo actually went and wherever the public purse was, he stole it and took it to his house. So as it stands today for Sam George, former President Akufo Addo has the public purse in his house. Because where we are. Do you understand? You understand the seriousness of the matter? So you don't expect that the minority will sit down there and fold their arms, hearing you speak about their hero. Because no matter how you look at it, President Akufo Addo is former President Akufo Addo is the hero of the minority because he served as president, just like former President Akufo. So for them to sit there, for them to hear that you have 700 corruption scandals to show that President Akufo Addo, he stole the public purse and took it to his house. And as it stands today, there's an NDC government with a new president, and that president has not gone to the former president's house to say, where is the public purse you stole? Give it to me. I'm taking it back. They haven't gone. Sam George hasn't led anybody to go to Akufo Addo's house or wherever he kept the public purse and say, give it back to us because you stole it from us. As of today, and he comes to vetting and comes to insist that what he said, it was true. We all know it was for politics. But if you come to insist, even after the person has left office, then you will have reaction from the people. And that's the reason why I think that this whole thing about Sam George has become something huge. Sam George's Ministry of Communication, is not one, for me, it's not one of the quote-unquote star ministries. I call them star ministries because for finance, for education, for trade, and for Attorney General's department, and energy. So these 5 ministries, they have, for me, become star ministries. And anybody who's going there, you are expected to go through a lot of vetting. And so Sam George's ministry, for me, communication is not one of such. And so I didn't expect.
But I think that over time it has become part of the star ministries because of the former minister and even Sam George's involvement in that ministry.
Yeah.
And you know.
But so I'm saying that if you look at all the vetting, all the questions that Afenyo Marquez was asking, how many of them really was about his ministry?
But is that not where people are complaining about?
But
that we should have focused more on the ministry.
But I'm telling you that this is an avenue to settle scores.
Should that be the case?
It shouldn't. But we have turned it into that. You recall the vetting of Godfrey Daming.
Okay, right, yeah.
Godfrey Daming then, as Attorney General nominee, he had vetting for nearly 7 hours.
6 hours, 23 minutes.
Yes, nearly. And it was back. There was a time that between him and Haruna, a law had even been passed by the Parliament, which Haruna was part of, but Haruna could not recall. And the Attorney General insisted that no, it's been passed. And Haruna was like, no, there's nothing like that. And then we now had to go and cross-check, only to confirm that indeed Parliament had passed that law. I'm only saying that vetting for a lot of people, it's time to settle scores, especially people who are very vocal. You expect that he will come and sit at the vetting booth today and nobody will ask him about claims he has made about oral. He has stood on national television and made presentations showing that the state capture, the former president's daughter had used state capture to acquire a public land. He made those claims on national television, only to go and check to see that the former president's daughter had rented the place. You think he will come and nobody will ask him a question about it? Because we are coming to talk about foreign affairs. They will settle scores.
But is that the role of the appointment committee? Is that its main function? And yesterday, Sam George made a statement that they should not use the committee to whitewash the president, the former president. And it appears
Who said that, Sam George?
Yes, for which he was made to withdraw. Yes. But for many people, I mean, when you look at it, a lot of the questions that are posed to some of the quote-unquote controversial nominees is about statements they had made about the former president that tainted his image. So, for instance, the Kofi Buah situation that he was asked to apologize, what he said was with regards to the president, the former president. The Sam George situation about stealing the public purse, about whatnot, it was about the former president. And many felt, because I monitor social media a lot, many felt that the questions that the nominees and the members of the committee were asking was to kind of have the people to either apologize for the things they said about the former president or to retract or make them look like they did not have evidence.
Settling political scores.
Was he wrong for saying that?
That's what I'm telling you. That even if you follow the American politics, which is a more developed democracy than ours, nominees of Donald Trump, who has just come into office, when they go for vetting, they don't ask them questions necessarily about defense ministry. You know the guy he nominated as his defense secretary. He's a former, I think he's a former broadcaster or something of that sort. The questions they were asking him, some of them were about things he has said about Biden, his position on vaccination, and things he has come. It is not necessarily about the space in which you are going. Those spaces the world over, people use it to settle political scores. And so if you have a Afenyo Marquez sitting there, he knows that Sam George has said in the past that former President Akufo Addo has stolen public purse. He has stolen it to his house. He's keeping it where we are in chain. And you see Sam George comes to sit there, and Afenyo Markins will just say, your ministry, what do you think you are going to do there to improve communications? Do you think that's what they will do? No, they will settle political scores, and that's what we are seeing. It's not going to change. If political power changes hands, in the not so distant future, and we come back to vetting, some people will be on the opposite side. They will also ask the same questions. Same questions. Ken Ofori-Atta did his vetting for 2 different days, over 9-hour period. Most of the questions they asked him was not about finance ministry, it was about his personal interest in various organizations and whether or not he's stealing public money to invest in those organizations. Good morning.
Eric.
Serwaa, the question should be this. Is that a relevant question? That question I am about to ask. That should be the measuring rod. Not whether or not the person made...
Relevant to who?
Oh, but a person shows up and has been nominated to head a ministry. And you are going to have the rare opportunity of quizzing the person. You do not know what the relevant question is.
No, if Afenyo Markins asks a question, because it is relevant to him. That's why he's asking him.
But I'm saying that relevant to you are not representing yourself. You see, this is where people miss the point. You are not representing yourself. We have to understand that you are representing some persons. So when you have that rare opportunity of asking questions and you spend forever asking people about their CVs, I don't even get that point. Unless there is an error in a CV, I do not get this fascination with the CV questions. Oh, did you attended London School of Economics? What have people done over the years? We have had finance ministers over the years, some with the best CVs in the world. What have we seen? Are we interested in CVs? So if you spend an hour on a nominee's CV, you are wasting time, because he's not there to respond to questions about his CV. There are also desperate attempts by some members of the committee to extract apologies from persons who show up before them. I don't get that. As far as I am concerned, Serwaa, if somebody disrespects you and the person is not minded to apologize to you, do you have to insist on an apology? That is even un-Ghanaian. At custom, we do not beg for apologies. If somebody sins against you or badmouths you or whatever your concerns are, do you go on that tangent that, are you going to apologize? Then the person says, I'll need some time today. You say, are you apologizing? What is this? And if you look at the number of minutes some of the members have spent on extracting apologies from some of the nominees, you will be shocked. And at the end of the day, they will tell you that they are tired. After squandering the glorious opportunity you had to ask relevant questions, you will come back to say that, I am tired, can we call it a day? Listen, we have to understand what this is about. This is about the destiny of the country and the destinies of Ghanaians. It is not about your beef with a nominee or somebody's unguarded remarks. I'm not saying that to say that people should be allowed to run their mouths or badmouth people just because they are interested in obtaining political power. I'm just saying that there should be a place for atonement, but the vetting platform should not be used by members of the committee to extract apologies. If somebody shows up and is not being remorseful, I do not think that it behoves members of the committee to request apologies from those persons appearing before them. I don't get the point.
There's no any other avenue apart from that. You think about the landscape. Wherever would you find?
I'll do.
I'm trying to make my summary teacher proud this morning.
I'll do.
Yeah. So, when people appear before vetting, as he said, it's a subject matter. Fortunately, this committee, they have included people who always are MPs, who always appear, who are part of the appointments committee as subject matter members. And therefore, when Honorable Sam George appeared yesterday, if you look at the beginning, the first questions they asked him were actually in his area, the area that he was going to deal with. So if anybody says that the subject matter was not dealt with, I think that the person should go and watch the clip again, because that is where you heard of the cyber thing, re-registration of SIM cards and all those things. Those are subject matter areas, and the committee is not made of or is not made of Honorable Afenyo Makin alone. So other members actually ask the relevant questions, and therefore, I mean, when I say relevant questions, I mean the subject matter questions. So that should be made clear. Now, I disagree with Wilberforce when he says that it's an avenue to settle political scores. It is an avenue to subject nominees to strict proof. No, we are all in this country, we talk of etiquette, cultural values. We have cultural values. We have cultural values. Sam George is a proponent of that phrase. When this LGBT thing, we have cultural values. And therefore, the cultural values that he has been talking about, touting, should be very important to any person in this country. And I agree that our cultural values are very important. We should respect our cultural values. And our cultural values is about saying things that are ethical, things that are within the law, and things that are agreeable to at least majority. When you appear, when in political campaign, you say as a campaigner of a particular process or a particular matter, that a chief justice of the land is engaged in judicial taggery. Serwaa, just open your eyes and look at taggery, what it means. A chief justice is engaged in judicial taggery because probably he did not do what you expect her to do. And by the way, law is not what you feel, it's of what it has to be. Yeah. And you say that and you appear before a committee and you are asked, you said this about the chief justice, and you say yes. Do you stand by those words? And you say yes. And you are asked to prove why you describe the chief justice as being engaged in judicial taggery. So if anybody asks you to explain why, to tell Ghanaians why you think that the chief justice were engaged in judicial taggery, you think this is not irrelevant? It is not a relevant question. When you were talking, I kept quiet. Sure. So you hold your You think this is not a relevant question to be asked? Sure.
He said the president stole money.
You think it is not a relevant question to ask? Especially when you said you still stand by it. The person should not ask you to prove that Chief Justice is engaged in that. Now, you come to another point that the president has looted, stolen state money,
the public purse.
We all know this political game, things are said during campaign. But when you appear before the committee and you are asked, did you say those things? You say yes. Do you have any proof? You are not giving proofs. You only tell the committee that you have over 700 corruption cases that will prove that they
given 4 hours.
That will prove that the former president was engaged in looting of state funds. And you say you need more than 4 hours to prove that? You think the person asking you should sit there and say that you should not be given the 4 hours to prove? To prove that the former president looted the state. And you think that president, apart from his political parties and all that, he doesn't have family, he doesn't have family members, he doesn't have people in the international community to say that the president looted the state money once in government and now he's going to enjoy his loot? You think that it is not relevant for somebody to ask him to prove that? Subjected to street proof? You see now and say that some people, let me look at some people were engaged in some export of that airport thing. Yeah. Gold. Yeah. I want to get that particular point.
Improperly labeled.
Improperly labeled. Well, whether improperly or some people were taking. Look, this is what he said. Dear comrades, when he sat on a platform, take positions. It's a post. Sorry, it's a post. Sorry, I think it's a post because he himself has he's disguised his emoji and all that. Me, I'm social media because of the trash that goes on social media. Sometimes I avoid it. I do not have I don't want to destroy my brains.
You don't have to torture yourself.
No. I don't want to give my brains
quality control.
So you I don't know. This is what he said. Dear comrades, take positions at the airports and land borders. None of those who have raped our nation's resources should be allowed to escape town. Those who have stolen public purse must be made to account for every pursuer. Operation Recover All Loot, oral, must swing into full action. For our children, for our nation, let's go. With a lion emoji. That's why he himself put a Ghana flag and a fire emoji. This is a very serious allegation. You you tweet or you post on your handle that this is what is happening at airport before the election. No, that was after the election, this matter. And you appear before a committee and you are asked to prove it. The explanation I do not understand. Because somebody will think that, look, these are genuine matters, these are issues that he has raised, and these are criminal matters that border on the looting and fleecing of the state. And therefore, if you make these allegations as somebody who is going to lead a ministry, you should be able to prove all these things. You see, he wasn't able to do that. When it came to Galamsey,
he said he needed 4 hours to do
he
that.
Needed 4 hours. The 4 hours. That is why I supported the thinking that he should have been given the 4 hours to prove it. Look, me, I sit here. If someone says that I have stolen, look, I don't have anything to say. That's why I have issues with you. No, that's. Forget that one.
You need to hold on for me. I need to take a quick break. I've been holding it up for a while. So you hold your thoughts. Okay. I need to take a break. I'll be back shortly.
To move the case faster.
Welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I'm Serwaa Amihere, and it's the breakfast review. I'm here with Wilberforce Osari, with Eric Owusu-Sai, Audu Mahama, and Ibrahim Al-Hassan. We've been talking about what happened in Parliament, and just before we went on a break, we're talking about some George's vetting. Audu, you're making a point.
Yes, and I am saying that in this world, Serwaa, I do not have anything. And all those who know me, what I have is my integrity. Because that is what I have. And those who know me well, that's all I have. Because I don't have anything, Serwaa. All the people, they grabbing, they looting, they land, state capture and all that. I don't have some.
You also have evidence.
I don't even have anything. Evidence of myself.
No, evidence of.
But some people are saying they escaped state capture. That's what I'm saying.
There is no evidence.
You see?
Yes.
You see? We'll come there.
Like those are responsible.
We will come there too. We'll come there too. State capture.
George.
We'll come there. State capture will pan out today.
Yes.
So I am saying that people value
capture himself.
State capture will come there too.
He will capture himself.
The grandfather of state capture.
So I am saying that people value their reputation, their integrity.
Yeah.
And if you make allegations against somebody, you have to be asked to prove it. And I've said it here. If you make
But
allegations...
is that the right forum?
The forum is for you to prove that you are capable of leading people with etiquette, with cultural values, moral values, with somebody who would respect people he is working with without accusing them or engaging in things that are not true. If you're a leader and you don't have this, no matter your knowledge, no matter what you have, you are not supposed to lead people. So values, culture, the cultural values, etiquette, very important in leadership. And he's going to lead a whole ministry. And you are leading a ministry that involves international organizations, multinationals. And therefore, what you say about them can make or break this country. And it is very critical that your integrity, your mental fortitude, everything is tested during vetting to show that you are actually the right person to lead a group, a structure, a ministry like communications. Now, Ministry of Communication, digital technology, and innovation. So it is very important. So nobody should kid himself that this is not an avenue. It is an avenue. That's the purpose of vetting, to show that you're actually the right person for that position. Now, I was talking about, again, President Akufo Addo, that this Galamsey thing, that he was complicit and he benefited directly from Galamsey operations. Serwaa, if somebody says this about you, wouldn't you, in all fairness, ask the person to prove it? He was again asked to prove, and what he said that MPP people were engaged in Galamsey, and then Akufo Addo, one of them, when he was even launching his campaign, he went and campaigned for the person. So because of that, he was benefiting. I didn't see the sense in that argument. And when he was asked, so if President Mahama, he is in government, he's the president today, if an NDC member were to be engaged in Galamsey and he's probably caught and all that, will you say that President Mahama is benefiting directly from the Galamsey resources and also complicit in Galamsey? Do you know what he said? He said that about Akufo Addo because he put his presidency on the line. So President Mahama now, he's not going to fight Galamsey. And therefore, if his MP or a member of his party is involved in it, because he did not put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey, he should not be held complicit or liable. Is that the argument he was making? Look, Serwaa, you see, when it comes to the area subject matter, the communications aspect, I have no doubt in my mind that Sam George is extremely competent in matters communication. I have no doubt in my mind at all. I have listened to him, I have followed him. I have no doubt in my mind about the area in which he's going. But you see, character is very important. in anything that you do, whether you are a leader, whether you are a follower, whether you are even a nobody. Character is very important, and therefore the way you behave, the way you live your life will make people judge you whether you are the right person to be there or not. People say that, oh, they are targeting people who were critical or who were critical of government when they were in opposition or when President Akufo Addo was in government. I said it here, being critical is actually different from being insulting and making unsubstantiated allegations against somebody. And when you are asked to prove, you say because you were critical. My very good brother and friend, Murtala Mohammed, everybody knows him. He's very critical of the previous administration. If you listen to him sometimes on TV3, what he says about this government, but he's never made any allegation against anybody that you could not prove. Because when you make allegations, the thing is that you have evidence. And everybody knows, when you saw how he appeared before the vetting, there were no controversies. He was asked the questions. You think that you make allegations, you come, he let you go because you are who? Because you are God.
To what end?
The end is that you should show that. Look, it is not good. Let's tell Ghanaians that it is not good to disparage people. It is not good to injure the reputation of people.
All right.
It is not good to do that. So the end is that this thing is a lesson to people who are these politicians who sit and look. Am I not critical of my own senior brother John Mahama on this platform? Am I not? Have I insulted him? Because it would be idiotic on my part to do that. I have said that I'll be proud, even though I disagree with him politically and all that, but I'll be proud to have him as my senior brother or my father in a family. Because look, to be a president of this country, it is not an easy thing. And therefore, if you even if you disagree with a person, don't insult or make allegations against a person that you cannot prove.
Okay.
So it is very important for everybody to show that you are the right person, and you should not make things that insult and attack people that you cannot prove. If you continue on that tangent, this country, the moral and cultural values that we have been talking about, that you don't insult the elderly, you don't do all this, is those two today be thrown to the dogs.
All right.
That is not the way we want to go as a country.
Okay.
Well, so I've followed the appointments committee for a while. I know what happens there and what doesn't happen there. And so the vetting process is ostensibly to test the character of the nominee, find out the competencies of the nominee, the nominee's knowledge about the sector that he or she has been nominated for. I agree with Audu that when it comes to Sam George's knowledge about the communications sector, I'm sure almost everybody in the room yesterday was wowed by the depth of knowledge he has about the sector. And so that is in no doubt. Now, let me use the opportunity to educate viewers about what happens at the appointment committee. So we are behaving as if the committee members are lovers, people who love themselves, right? And that they always agree. They are not from different political divide. So once we put them in a room, we expect them to satisfy each other. Unfortunately, that's the erroneous expectation. You have put in the same room political adversaries, and we are not paying attention to that. See, the group that does the vetting proper is the minority. It has always been. The majority members will not go and vet anybody. The best question you will get is, what are you bringing on board? What's the assurance that you do A, B, C, D? That is it. No majority member of the appointment committee will ask any question that will portray the nominee in a negative light. Nobody will do that. Nobody does that. About what can be asked and what cannot be asked. Nominees have been asked to recite the national pledge before. They fumbled. Abba Magwin did that. Abba Magwin once asked a nominee to recite the national pledge. The person fumbled, and that became a tag. on the person forever. So there are ways of either jolting or throwing the nominees off way. Now, Sam George and Afenyo started very well. In fact, when Afenyo related to their past relationship, the fact that they were business partners, and then told him that I will not be impediment on your way of becoming a minister, started very well. But mind you, what happened, and settings are everything. What happened in the room was that we and those who were watching the TV were hearing Afenyo ask questions and Sam George answer. But there were cheers and there were jeers. So depending on which question was asked, there were reactions in the room, and that informed how the questions were answered. So, like I said, they started very well. And Sam George was not giving cheeky answers. If you can go back and monitor. But it degenerated. It degenerated because
there were cheers.
And then it became more or less like political questions. The political questions must be answered politically, Serwaa. Unless, you see, so some of us were watching, we're not politicians. So, yes, we could read meanings into it. We could say they could have been put better. There are questions that Afenyo was. Even in the room, there were murmurings of disapproval. That ought not to happen. Because, you see, the question that you think is the silliest of questions might end up getting the best of answers, either in the favor of the nominee or the one who is asking the question. Because every question should have an end game. So viewers and the public must understand that when we are watching proceedings of the appointment committee, please work on your emotions. You see, if you attach emotions to what we are watching, at the end of the day, somebody is getting the job, you end up getting high blood pressure. And even in the room. See, to the point that there is heckling. That is needless. Nobody is expected to heckle anybody. It's not a sonar that's been delivered on the floor of Parliament, or you talk about the fact that the finance minister is there to present the budget. So, yes, there was degeneration. And I'm sure if you look at the demeanor of even Alexander Kwame Afenyo, at the point he realized, was it a very beautiful spectacle of vetting? No. Because they were seeking to undo each other. And I'm talking about Afenyo and Sam George.
At the point.
Yes. And once you are seeking to undo each other, it became like NDC versus MPP. Immediately that tag came on board, there was degeneration. At the point, Sam George wanted to find out whether it's possible for Afenyo to read something for him. And then the chairman said no. There were answers that Sam George gave that the chairman had to step in and say, withdraw. It's unfortunate that the chairman has been at the receiving end of, because see, the degeneration didn't start yesterday. It's a bottled up, pent up emotions that yesterday bled out, and all of us are witnesses to what happened. See, and I go over first when you talked about anger. There's so much anger in the system. The anger has driven people to go to GRA and ask that no official vehicles should move. Meanwhile, official vehicles, many of them are registered GV. So it will be foolhardy on anybody's part to steal that vehicle. Right? Yesterday, the majority leader related to an episode at GRA that he personally had to go and de-escalate. Because there were civil servants who had called him that they wanted to move out to go engage in one activity or the other with the official vehicle, but they were unable to. Because once the vehicles were moving, their suspicion was that they were being stolen. That is the level of mistrust in the system. That's the level of anger in the system. It must be de-escalated at the point. 2 days ago, kids from Kimbu and ATTC were here having a go at each other. They were chasing each other on the street, beating each other up, and then we put that out there. If those kids were to watch what happened yesterday, they will feel very much encouraged. And that episode will repeat itself.
Even our dads are doing it.
You get the point? So we must press the pause button at a point. We have to. I don't know who it will have to take, but somebody must ensure that that pause button is pressed. Because we are in a race to nowhere. Today, watch it. They will put up the best of behaviors. Today. Oh, see, Ablakwa will have a field day. Because nobody will want to overstep the boundary. So the damage has been done yesterday for today, and I'm telling you,
when it comes to Ablakwa, I don't really expect him to have a field day.
Okay, when I use the word field
questions, but yes, it will not be antagonistic.
That's the point. See, the episode we saw yesterday, will not repeat itself today. I'm telling you, it won't. No problem. We'll be here
when
next week.
When you say the episode, you mean the scuffle or the chats, the scuffle, the supposedly cross-examination that happened yesterday?
The cross-examination will happen. See,
I
told you on the platform.
The fight.
Yes.
We don't expect the fight to happen.
Not just the fight.
Ibrahim said something that I want to just talk about briefly. Mm-hmm. He talked about pressing the pause button, but he added that he doesn't know who it will take. I think I know who it will take, or those it will take. And it's not the president. Mm-hmm. It's about the political actors, the political leadership, the political actors who are capable of saying, "Arise, march here," and the people are going there. They are the people. Those? Oh, they know themselves. For the avoidance of lawsuits, I don't want to mention anybody's name.
But this is what is so defaming about this.
No, Wilberforce. Let us not be diplomatic about this. Mm-hmm. If people are taking on the chief. Yesterday, Sam George showed up, and our friend said it. When he was asked about the Chief Justice, he maintained his position. You see, there is a challenge I have with people who go at judges. Judges, by their ethics, cannot grant interviews. If Serwaa wants to interview the Chief Justice this morning, as eloquent as she is, as professional as she is, the Chief Justice will not grant her an interview. So if you have a platform and you go at her, she will not have the right of a rebuttal. So judges, should be. I'm not saying this because I'm a lawyer.
Yes, but look, beyond the fact that you're a lawyer, just 1 minute. Beyond the fact that you're a lawyer, all of us who are sitting on this table, together with the people who are listening to us, we come to a point where we tell everybody, especially those who are politicians, stay away from the judiciary. Stay away from the judiciary. Because you know what?
Are they above criticism?
No, they are not above. But so it's all of us. What I mean is that it is our last hope and our last resort. All of us, including Sam George. All of us. Including him.
Yesterday, he
all right, let I be land. Then I can come back to you.
So let me land. Let me land.
Insults.
Let me land. That's a matter of perspective. Don't worry. That's a matter of perspective.
I won't.
No, that's the matter of perspective.
What
you can describe as insult to somebody might be criticism. That's a matter of perspective. The point I'm making, I will explain to you. Don't worry. I will explain to you.
If I say somebody is stupid, that's prescription.
You see, that's outright insult. No, you're not getting it. So when I talk about perspective,
differentiate.
I don't mean outright insult.
Land. Okay, thank you.
Now, the reason why I say things might be different today, and things will indeed be different today, will be that the questioners will be cautious, and then the nominees will equally be cautious. Now, here's the thing. I'm aware. Yesterday, I knew what was going to happen. I knew the items that had been procured, and they were going to be used in cross-examining Sam George, right? Same things will happen. Ablakwa will have to answer to many of the things he said in his public pronouncement, many of the things he posted, many of the claims he made on his crusade, the SOA crusade, and that's Samuel Okwinto Ablakwa crusade, as he embarked upon it. He will have to answer questions on that. I will not fault any member of the committee for asking questions in that direction, because we've watched the proceedings of the committee and those questions have been asked of previous nominees. So why not now? Now, what I'm saying is that everybody will be emotionally intelligent on the committee today. Emotional intelligence is everything. And that is what will guide the conversation so it doesn't degenerate. Now, Sam George and the Chief Justice. See, if you take context out of this conversation, you will be wrong. Were we talking about a religious position or not? Mind you, we're talking about the anti-gay bill. And we know how emotional those matters became. Now, I have sat here, and that's why I'm going to stake my neck out on this, and said that I didn't for my life understand why the panel that sat on the injunction application decided to defer its ruling till the end. In essence, they granted the request of the plaintiffs.
Which case?
I'm talking about the anti-gay bill, the suit. See, I'm saying that stop Parliament from doing A. You have sat on this particular application. You have your ruling. Because it is a ruling. The ruling is that I cannot injunct Parliament. But you say, I will not tell you that this is a ruling. I want the case to travel till the end. I have granted what you wanted. I sat here and said that was wrong. And so if Sam George says that's wrong, I agree with him.
But he didn't just say that. He said CJ was engaged in judicial thuggery.
That's choice of words.
No, but I
by choice of words. This is an insult. It's choice of words. And attack on the integrity of the person.
Let me talk about it.
Say that he was in a criminal enterprise.
Courts grant and request adjournments. You see? So if a court had request adjournments, you see? So if a court had this view, sometimes even a party who is unable to base your accusation solely on the adjournment, you are not being fair to the Chief Justice, because you will not have the right to rebut the claim you are making. When we are making running commentary on some of these institutions, we should be very careful, because we will run to them when we run into trouble.
Okay, I want us to bring a playback of some of the things that happened with Sam George. We'll come back and finish. We are discussing it thoroughly.
My words were that she had, the president at the time was leading science and technology, and the then vice party that he had sika or needed money was the NPP, and President Akufo Addo was leader of the NPP. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and has his kids in a row behind it like a duck, it is a duck. I hold the view respectfully that we could get more value for what we pay as a country for data. I've already begun conversations on the instructions of His Excellency the President with stakeholders to ensure that we get more value. More value could be in reduction in prices or increases in offerings. So it could be that if you paid, for example, 100 Ghana cedis of data, so that's more value. Or the 100 gig could drop to 75 cedis. There are different models around it. But like I said in an earlier answer, we hope to see prices of data hopefully drop before the end of this year. We've got a National Identification Authority that holds and sits as our national repository of biometric data. I think it was wickedness of the highest order to subject Ghanaians to long hours of queues, taking away productive man hours affecting our economy, to go and queue again and resubmit biometrics, simply because egos could not be managed. We will do a proper SIM re-registration again, but this time nobody's going to queue, because common sense will prevail, expertise will prevail, and logic will work. The MNOs hold a certain set of data. We would use technology to cross-reference that against the NIA's database and all biometric databases, and only instances where there are disparities would require you visiting an MNO shop. Because today, as we speak, the telcos cannot truly verify who is holding their SIM card. And it even is in their own benefit for us to do this process and do it properly. Mr. Chairman, I have come to know me for years, and I believe could be a proper character reference, and attest to the fact that I'm a member on the committee, Honorable Afenyo-Markins. And so, yes, I reiterate, I'm not a disrespectful person.
What you mean by Nana Akufo Addo did not steal from the public purse, but he actually stole the purse. Would you explain what you meant by that? And after that, let the public know whether you still stand by that statement or you seek to retract.
Mr. Chairman, before I answer, may I seek leave of you to know how many minutes I have to answer this question? Because I have a litany of over 700 corruption scandals under President Akufo Addo that I will list systematically and explain each one to show Ghanaians how President Akufo Addo and his government stole the public purse.
Honorable nominee, the question is, do you stand by it or not?
The question was twofold. So, do I stand by it? Yes. Why did I say it? That's what I'm asking for. How many minutes or hours you give to me to run through 700 corruption scandals under President Akufo Addo?
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICC, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets. And so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the track and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
only child.
No. We'll deal with this matter. You call me.
I don't have time to Did I mention your name? Why are you taking your hat on yours? Did I mention your name? You know you were fighting on TV about this, your seat. You are coming to collect your money. Did I mention your name?
You cannot call me.
Did I mention your name?
We have proceeded.
Did I mention your name? You can carry a cross you want to carry.
Right, so you're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today, and it's the breakfast review. The video that you saw there was the Petroleum Commission boss when she went to Parliament earlier this week to support Emmanuel Armah-Kofi Buah for his vetting, and then there was some confrontation or near fisticuffs. But it's actually, yes, true. It's Omane Buama because of the other people there. And she called the, what's another minority chief whip,
yes,
right?
Yes.
As a silly child, which she obviously denied later that she wasn't referring to him, but we all know that she was referring to him because that's a very Ghanaian behavior. You know that thing. But, you know, when we're young, you say, and then when you are caught, you're like, did I mention your name?
So how old is she? How old is she?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Because you refer to Dompe as a silly child.
Yeah. But, well, you know, Anodompe didn't take it lightly. So even though we understand that the woman eventually apologized to him, he says that he wants the necessary sanctions to be meted out to her. And so he went to complain in Parliament on the floor to the Speaker. And the Speaker has said that he's taking a personal interest in the matter. He will invite both parties, hear from their side, and then make a decision and come and inform the House about his decision later. So we are all as it stands.
Okay.
Sorry?
I was just asking that you said Madame Hardcastle apologized?
Yes.
If she apologized, then this should end the matter.
Well, he's not satisfied with the apology that came. Yes, okay. He says he's not satisfied with the apology. And so we're all waiting for what the Speaker will decide.
Okay.
I'll start with you on that one. Make it brief so that we can wrap up.
One. Is that where she going? Petroleum Commission?
Yes.
You know, she will also be dealing with multinational corporations.
Right.
Oil sector. And I don't think she should carry this kind of conduct to that institution. She should not. Because what she did, Serwaa, let me end it. The viewers have seen what she has done. I have nothing more useful to her.
Eric.
Well, Serwaa, I have a simple message for President Mahama. He and his people should understand that very soon the righteous anger, Wilberforce and IB are inviting people to pipe down a bit. But I say that there is righteous anger in the land. Very soon, people are going to turn the guns on President Mahama and his appointees.
And we don't want that to happen.
No. Wilberforce, we need to raise the stakes. We have to do that. And people who are grabbing...
Just 2 weeks, a radio presenter who is affiliated to NDC said that they've stopped picking up their calls.
Yes!
The appointees.
You and I saw this coming.
So they are busy. They are trying to get accustomed to the work.
Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly.
You and I knew that this was coming, right? People will switch their SIM cards. They will start using different phone lines.
But it's true. It's true. There are people who used to come here. When we call them now, they don't answer. You know, and IB is the producer, and you know, we just want them to know that that's how the NPP
they are
was
now
behaving.
occupied. They were jobless.
So
you should understand.
if you want to continue on that tangent,
don't worry.
I mean,
they were jobless. Now they are.
They say when you have food in your mouth, you don't speak. So they are not willing to speak. But I'm saying that very soon we are going to turn the guns on Mahama and his appointees. because a lot is expected of them.
Right.
Ghanaians kicked out the NPP because Mahama made promises, Sam George and all. We are watching them. You see, they should not think that they are going to have it easy. Now, people are beginning to question where the dividends of the democratic experiment are. Where are the dividends? You have to show working. We are not interested in whether you attended Harvard University and excelled there. You were the best African student during your time. Nobody is interested in those accolades. We want you to show working.
Okay.
We would want to see how people-centered you are. The promises you made, we would want you to fulfill them, because we are not interested in the appointments you are grabbing. We all have colleagues who are grabbing appointments left, right, and center. And people should understand that the times we live in demand that they do more.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Okay, well, before you come in, we understand that the minority will be having a press conference in Parliament. Yeah. And just to let our viewers know that when it starts, we'll take you live there and bring you that press conference live here on GHOne TV. Yes,
so I'm not going to talk so much. I'm just going to quote a statement by Warren Buffett,
right?
Which I just saw tweeted by my boss. He says that
Who's your boss?
I'm talking about Gabi. So he says that he says that you will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing things with logic. True power is restraint. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass. Good morning.
And the man you mentioned is now the what position you see in terms of wealth?
Warren Buffett is a very rich man.
I only said that even that man, even he, look at what he's selling now.
So on the score of people not picking their phones, we are assuming and giving people the benefit of doubt that you see, this government is in its formative stage.
Right.
In fact, the one that you intend lobbying is equally lobbying. So maybe that's the existence of the process.
That's what I was saying.
But there was one of them. I see where he was wearing regalia and wearing the beret.
Yes.
Now he's wearing suits.
Why not?
Times have changed.
No, this is it is very important.
You mean Malik Batintale?
No, the new office will require new sense of fashion. We get that, but the point I'm making is, and I agree. I said this that if MFA Hardcastle had not been given an appointment, it's not a government appointee, right? Yeah. I'm not sure this issue will have been escalated to where it got into.
Right.
Once whatever you do reflects on the government that you are serving.
Exactly.
There's incumbent on you to be much more emotionally intelligent. And so what happened is that the case has been reported to the plenary. Speaker then took it up and said he will be inviting both of them, the lady and another one. But I've seen that after what happened yesterday, people are now saying that the lady has been vindicated. Not entirely the case. Not entirely the case. Two wrongs do not make a right. You can call out another umbrella for what he's done yesterday and you are seeing in the video. But you can equally say that some words might have been used that could have been avoided. Right?
Certainly.
Let cool heads prevail. Darling.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Like Ivy said, sometimes we can just manage words and say things in a more better way. But I also think that we have to condemn all sorts of insults, regardless of wherever it is coming from. Insults should not be encouraged in the work that we do. Exactly, exactly. Anyway, thank you so much for coming up. I've kept you here for so long. This is the longest that we've been here.
When you suffer from constipation of thoughts.
But sorry, we must put this. I want to go and fight in Parliament.
Yes.
They are trying to say that they are limiting the number of media houses that can cover the proceedings today.
Impossible.
Media did not instigate the fight yesterday. Let them understand. The media did not instigate the fight yesterday. We were supposed to even be there to serve as check on them. When they saw the cameras, that should have stopped them from fighting.
cannot guide
so
the media.
you saying that GTV should be the
They
one
lie.
picking, it's not an answer to anything. They should understand that.
And then there may be another chaos today.
Let me
That's
get-
why I'm saying that you should not be guaranteed by the media.
I know the people that you should call for this fight. I would follow him. If there's going to be a scuffle with the media, I would take your bag and follow.
I see, with all my things I see, you know I don't throw blows.
You haven't been provoked enough.
No, I don't throw blows. But I've said one thing about our own media people.
Yeah.
That's for you, the media people. Because me, if I take you to court, you won't get money to pay me anything. Because the media people, many of them are broke. We don't have anything. If I know I can handle you my own way, Bulsa way.
Which is that way?
But even now,
Anyway, thank you, gentlemen. And just to remind you again that the minority will be having a press conference in Parliament very shortly. We'll take you live there when that press conference starts. And today, the vetting continues. Okujeto Ablakwa will be vetted today, and Menta Kano will equally be vetted today among other nominees. So don't go away, because everything will be live here on GHOne TV and on our social media platforms. Let me quickly do some birthday messages, because we have other conversations coming up as well. To the show. This is GH Today. I'm Serwaa Amihere. There's a cast of Poison's Affair with me here in the studio. They'll tell us about the movie and the inspiration behind it, when it's airing and whatnot. Ebenezer Winnerman Hefty is a film producer and director. Good morning. And Obapa Christiba is also an actress. Curtis Blowman is a writer, and Fresh Page is an actor as well. You're all welcome. Okay, so you are the cast of Poison's Affair. Okay, why are you called Obapa Christiba?
Oh, because sorry to say, I'm the English woman, so if my English is not well, take me like that. Okay. Obapa Christi is my mother, and I can sing like her too.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Okay, so you are a producer, director. Right?
I'm the writer.
You are the writer. So who is Ebenezer? You.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are the producer and director. So you produce this film.
Yes.
Okay, and you are an actor as well.
And the production manager.
Production manager, and you are
the writer.
The writer of The Poisonous Affair. Okay, so what's Poisonous Affair? What's it about?
Yeah, Poisonous Affair, as the name goes, it's much about relationship and how it affects other people.
Right.
If your relationship affects you in a very negative way, or if somebody's relationship affects you in a negative way, that relationship is poisoning your affair. Get it? So with this Poisonous Affair, it explores the themes of love, complexities, obsession, and toxic behavior, in the sense that two people having a relationship which is also affecting the people around them negatively. You get it? Yeah.
So what's the story? Whose relationship was poisonous and...
As for me, I'm the movie. I could put the boy shit down there. I beat out the girl. I beat the man's rough. Oh, I'm English woman, don't worry.
So you beat who?
I cuckoo the boy, my husband or my fiancé took down and destroy him to pieces.
It was a poisonous affair.
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch the trailer of the movie very quickly. Right. I saw you as well. Were you in it? Okay. Oh well, you are the director, so you can't be in it. But the writer was in it.
Yeah, I'm an actor as well.
Oh, you're an actor as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the inspiration behind?
Yeah.
Do you have a personal experience?
Yeah, of course. This is inspired by a lot of true life events, but not mine alone.
You just said, of course. Someone was torturing you or what?
No, that part is not even the part I played. So it's that one doesn't correspond to mine. But then we have an evidence of true life events in. Even some people have started speculating that whatever is in there might be a reason behind our fair Patry and Calibers Nigeria. I know people have their own speculations, but I don't judge that. I think that's to the public. Yeah.
Okay. So, Madam Christie, so what role? You said you carried somebody and you beat the person.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you also have a personal experience with a poisonous affair?
Oh, the thing is, me, I always beat the men, and yeah.
Even in your life.
Yeah. If you, I'm hopeless girl to see me in petit trou. So.
You're what?
Hopeless girl. I'm just a high person. Rough. I'll ship you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's you.
I put the boy put down.
So even in your real life, you beat men.
If you didn't do my personal like the thing I like rough, I'll beat.
So if your boyfriend is watching, you've been beating your boyfriend.
I'm okay with it.
You beat him.
Yeah. If he got there,
who is your boyfriend?
Right now, I don't have some right now, but very soon I'll get some.
Okay, so I see. Oh, you're a comedian as well. Oh, right. So that's not how you ordinarily talk. That's you being in character.
No, as for me, I'm English person. What I'm saying is writing. Or I'm the things. I'm the right things there.
No, are you in character?
Yeah. The TikToker there.
She doesn't understand.
Oh, I'm English woman, no.
She doesn't understand.
Who told you?
Okay, what do I mean?
You mean when I come in, did eat? Oh, it's not something like
character.
Are you acting now?
Oh yeah, I'm acting. I know the character. It's not cat.
So this is not real you, right?
Yeah.
That's not the real you.
Yes. I'm a jovial person on TikTok.
So you're a TikTok star.
Yeah, on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok
star.
Yes.
What do you do on TikTok?
The Jimmy there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My mom trusts me well for Papa Christie.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. That's nice.
Yeah.
So does TikTok give you money?
No, but maybe let me go into my English. When someone call you for advertising, you get money from it.
Okay, so it gives you exposure.
Yes.
Okay, how long have you been acting for?
3 years.
How many movies have you acted?
Oh, it's plenty, but
hey, plenty.
Yeah, TikTok, YouTube, and
okay, YouTube videos.
YouTube, yeah, but the one we
How are you agreeing to such a contract?
Trying to say that his manager is actually.
Why can't she speak for herself?
Hey, you think you want to discuss me that I don't speak? I'm in the English woman there. So what
is your manager? Are you her manager?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, but you didn't sound confident. So how was it like directing the movie?
Okay.
How long did you shoot the?
Yes. I can relate to the story. It was my own lifestyle. Some parts.
So you two, they've been beating you?
No, mine wasn't toxic. Mine was the romantic aspect of it.
So you're a romantic man.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you dating your client?
No, I can't do that.
They know why like me.
Because we understand that some managers date their clients. You don't.
I'm exceptional. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yes, you're a romantic man.
Yeah. So I think romantic is when it happened, I just ignore them.
You ignore.
Yeah, sure.
Wow, that's a lot of emotional intelligence, right?
Sure.
Wow, that's a lot of emotional intelligence, right?
Sure.
And you have you been meeting women who are like that too, or?
I mostly meet toxic women as well. So if I meet you and you kind of toxic, hardcore, I just move on.
You just move on. Yeah. You're looking for someone who is like you.
Who is calm.
Who doesn't like to fight and ignores things.
Yes, that is it.
I see. Okay. And how about you? How do you relate to the story?
Okay. In the story, I was a friend to Kalimos.
Okay.
In the story, I was a friend to Kalimos.
Okay.
And we are real bankers, and with his relationship staffs, we give him advice on what not to do and what to do in terms of what the wife is doing to him at home. Yeah, so when it comes to the boys, you try to give him the boys advice. Yeah.
I see. So usually, right? Let me come to you. Yes, I'm in your country.
Madam, I can speak.
I'm famous. Usually, the male actors get a lot of women. How are the women?
As I said, I'm a hopeless girl person. So when the movie catch me, I'm the popular girl. When I see the town, my English is not there for you.
Go ahead.
I should go ahead. Take me like that. If you so when you see the town, you see somebody, they are calling you, then you are pump off. So when I will walk like this. My interview is not good for you.
It's good. I understand.
You understand?
Yes. Yeah, so you are always walking around with a lot of pride.
Yes.
Okay. And have you gotten a lot of toasters as a result of that?
I'm doing. That's what I'm focused on.
I see. Yeah. So this movie, Poisonous Affair, when is it airing? Is it going to be on YouTube or what?
Yeah, for now we are premiering it. So tomorrow at 6.
I'll urge everyone to come out tomorrow to come and watch the movie, to entertain themselves and also to educate themselves about relationship stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be there too.
Okay. I give the final word to you.